Subway has teamed up with Live Nation to bring you great food and great music for a great value. Right now, buy a Subway $5 footlong and get a Live Nation concert ticket for $5 to participating Live Nation shows like Nickelback, The Fray, and Crew Fest 2. Ticket price does not include fees. See store for details. Subway. Eat fresh. Eat fresh. The BS Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects.
First of all,
this is the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
It might be cool, I don't know. And if it's not, I don't care.
The BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons works for ESPN. He's also named the Sports Guy, and he writes a comical sports column. He must be a popular dude.
The BS Report.
It's got a real dirty sound, like a rusty steak knife cutting through a well-aged steak.
Now.
Here's Bill Simmons.
Welcome to the BS Report. At long last, people have been emailing. They thought he died. They thought he was mad at me. They thought he didn't want to be on anymore. We were just saving him for football season because he's going to be on every week during the football season. And he's here right now on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline. Our old friend, Cousin Sal. Sal Iacano from Jimmy Kimmel Live. What's happening?
What's happened? But no, I'm not mad at you. I just don't speak in the off season. I don't talk to my family or anything. I'm saving it all up. I'm very excited.
Well, that's what I tell people is that it's like Rocky and Rocky 4. You go into the mountains. You lift your wife and your children and a couple other people. What was that thing that Rocky lifted everybody in?
Oh, that was ridiculous. I don't even know if it had a name. Yeah.
I don't even know. Whatever it's called, you do that. You do some chop wood. You get back to the basics. You get ready for the season.
Right. I like to compare myself to Paulie more than Rocky, where I just sit back and yell at the homeless guys in the street. But that's nice too. Thanks.
Hey, I'm glad I accidentally brought that up because I texted you on Sunday night. I was watching Rocky 4. And I asked you what the line was for Creed Drago.
Right.
And I thought it was Creed by minus 400. And you went crazy. You said there's no way it was that high. And then you ended up in a big argument with your friends in New York about it.
Well, my buddies, like 4 guys are big Rocky fans and everything. And Creed minus 400. First of all, he had to be in his 40s, right, at that point?
I'm going to say he was like 41, maybe 41, 42. Because you think Rocky 1 happens in 76. So right. Creed is undefeated, and he had a big record. He was like 50-0 or something at that point. So he had to have been like 31, 32.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say And we also were trying to figure out how long he'd had a layoff. Did he fight after Rocky 2?
Yeah,
maybe he had a couple fights.
Really.
Well, but maybe he had a couple fights and got knocked out again. We don't know.
Yeah.
They didn't say his record.
It's not on the DVD extras, but one thing's for sure. They sent over that big Russian. He's breaking all sorts of records with his punching ability, 2,000 square inches per punch, whatever it was. But
right.
So he had to, but you had Creed as a big favorite over, and it was an exhibition anyway, so you probably couldn't bet it, or they were supposed to take it lightly, right?
Well, that's true, but my whole argument was Drago because the Russians boycotted the 1984 Olympics.
Yeah.
So Drago. There would have been really no way for the bookies or really anybody in America to know that Drago was any good. All he was this robot-looking guy that's he's coming over to Russia. He's won all these tournaments in Russia, what does that mean?
I know.
He's fighting Apollo Creed.
Right. The good news is in a couple of weeks we won't even have time for this night. You won't have to talk about soccer or freaking Almost Famous or all that other nonsense. Football is right around the corner.
Hey, listen, I'm trying to fill the void as we wait. As wait for football.
You can do about it. I know.
Wait, but we had the other question is who was favored in the Russia fight?
Well, he had to be it was in his home turf, right?
And he just killed somebody.
I guess Rocky was just as old as Apollo, right?
Rocky's late 30s, early 40s.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man. The guy killed but then, there might have been some bettors who were just like, you know what, screw it. I'm never going against Rocky again. I got screwed over when he fought Clubber Lang, and I'm not doing it, so it might have brought it closer to even, but I still think minus 500, I'd say.
Wow. I would have gone I think there would have been a lot of, the goal of the gambler is to set the line so that you get action on both sides.
Yeah.
Americans are going to bet Rocky. They want Rocky to win, so I think it would be minus 200.
All right, but that guy, they kill that guy if he loses, basically. I mean, he lost his mind anyway and turned on his own country, so that was convenient. But
I do this for me!
They have to make a 6.
Who was favored in the second the second Rocky Clubber fight? the rematch.
That had to be about the same, right? The guy his head for sure was more into the Russian fight than it was the second Clubber Lang fight, wasn't it?
I think Clubber was like a minus 1,000 favorite.
Yeah.
Because, and then it's like they're probably writing stories about Rocky, like it was training with Apollo now. The people were probably like, what the hell is going on?
Right.
Now Apollo's training him. This guy Clubber can't be beaten. He murdered him. He killed Mickey.
Yeah. They should have actually let people bet on it and then finish the movie. But really try to keep it legit. Like, all right, this is what happened. So.
This should be good. We should make that a new segment during the football season where we come up with lines for sports movie games.
I love it.
That'd be fun. Like,
yeah.
And Hoosiers. Maybe we'll do Hoosiers next time. All right, let's talk fantasy.
Let's do it.
Actually, let's talk Brett Favre first, because we're taping this on a Tuesday, and Brett Favre is coming back. Secretly, deep down a little bit, you're excited for those two Packer-Viking games, aren't you?
I think so. I think, my wife is from Milwaukee, and she's going to be there the whole week, and I'm kind of jealous.
What?
By accident. She's there, I believe, October 1st through 8th, and I think one of those Sundays is that Packers hosting the Vikings. But
so she has to go then, right?
Yeah, she has to go. Yeah. Oh, she has to go to the game. I thought you meant she has to... I have to kick her out of the house. No, yeah, she has to go. Yeah, she should go to that game. Yeah.
That's a pretty good one.
But I don't know. I hate him more and more. Don't you feel like enough was enough 2 years ago with this? Like, just put the Wranglers on. There's two guys who want to see you play right now. It's Chris Berman and John Madden. Throw the Wranglers on. Invite them to your ranch in Mississippi or wherever. Throw a ball through a hoop, and those two will get their kicks, and they can go off and do whatever afterwards. But I'm done with them. I don't know. I don't think it makes that team better either.
Even Peter King turned on Brett Favre on Twitter today.
He did. What did he say?
Said he was wishy-washy.
Really?
And was very disappointed. It was shocking.
That's the best you're going to get out of Peter King from Favre. Yeah, that's
strong words from Peter King.
Yeah.
I tweeted that Favre is like VD at this point. He's not. We're not going to get rid of him. You just got to take medication and hope that nobody really notices it. But
right.
I think it's fun though. I mean, ultimately we're in a fun place with this because now this becomes a huge. Now we have this. We have Michael Vick. We have the Brady comeback. There's a lot of stuff going on this year. This really is one of the most fun NFL seasons that I can remember. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and especially since they're probably going to get locked out next year, so this better be good. But
yeah, we got to make this one count.
But I don't actually think Vic or Favre make these teams better. But
no.
I don't know how a guy like Adrian Peterson's happy. Like he's going to break off like a 60-yard run, and then Favre's going to improvise by the goal line and throw a left-handed interception in the corner of the end. Like, I don't know. I think, and forget about what a slap in the face it is to Rosenfeld, who I think is better anyway. This sets the team back a year. But
I disagree.
Yeah?
I think Rosenfeld is horrible. And maybe I'm biased because I bet on the Texans that game that he just – you remember that game that it almost seemed like he threw it?
That was bad, yeah.
And Tavares
is
Tavares Jackson's an abomination. Favre, if he gives you a C-, that's better than the D- you're going to get. And the one thing he can do is just whip it downfield. So maybe 3 times a game he just throws it 50 yards and you hope Bernard Berrian catches it. Like if Tavares Jackson's throwing it, it's going out of bounds.
Yeah, I just think it's such an arrogant move, and I don't know how he could create team chemistry. Like purposely, it's obvious he set out training camp because these are the 3 toughest weeks to get through. So what kind of message does that send to the rest of them? I don't know. I think it's going to unite Packers and Vikings fans. They're going to hate Favre eventually.
That'd be interesting.
I really do.
Well, he is going to a much tougher division.
Yeah.
Because you and I both like the Bears.
That's a lot of fun to watch, right? Even with Cutler and everything else. That's a good division.
It's going to be a good one. Do you think Favre gets drafted in our league?
I was thinking about that today. I thought Vick would go in the last round, I was going to say. And, I think Favre probably goes late, like 11th, 12th, or somewhere in there.
Matthew Berry, who we ran it yesterday, but we were taping it right before you, he thinks that Vick will get drafted as a handcuff to Donovan McNabb.
McNabb?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I would like to, if they put odds, speaking of odds, of Vic to win MVP of the Super Bowl, because I think the Eagles are going to make it. I really do. I think they have their stuff together. I think they're the Patriots of the NFC right now, and they're just going to bully teams. And it's not going to be because of Michael Vick, but McNabb gets hurt late season, like and then all of a sudden Vic's in the championship game. What kind of odds you put on that for MVP of the Super Bowl?
You mean if you could bet it right now?
Right now.
Wow, that would be interesting. I would say 200 to 1.
Yeah. Let's get in on that, because it's going to be depressing when it happens, and we might as well make some money off of it.
What about the bet I sent you that a reader sent me about, like the over-under in some Vegas casino for total Patriot interceptions this year was 18, and Brady's like never thrown more than 11.
I like that. But basically you're betting that he just doesn't get hurt, right? Because if he misses 4 games, which would be a lot for him.
Hey, you don't think Andrew Walter can step right in?
Well, he is the man.
Former Raider? Come on. He had some good moments.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you had a backup with such
yeah,
good like Andrew Walter.
Pedigree. He learned from Art Shell. No. All right. So our goal today.
Yeah.
We feel that really, you can do all the fantasy previews you want. You can do your top 200 or whatever, but that's not really going to help you, the fantasy football player.
Right.
Because right around the end of round 3, you're picking guys based on what you need more than who the best guy is and all that stuff. But you're trying to form your team in those first 3 rounds.
Exactly.
So we'll do a top 30.
All right.
I'm trying to hash this out right now.
Let's do it. I ranked 24 because I thought that would be 2 rounds for most leagues, but I could keep going.
Well, we'll bump it to 30 because we both have fantasy problems. And
we
both agree Peterson is number 1. The Favre thing even reinforces it to me a little bit.
Yeah, and maybe you talked about this before, but the only thing, Peterson, 10 touchdowns, 1,700 yards, he's in there every year. But the greatest touchdown dance right now, and I guess it would have to happen in preseason. If maybe someone brought this up to you already. Peterson scores and pulls out a fantasy magazine with his picture on the cover, right there.
You mean pulls out the actual magazine out of his pants?
Any magazine that has him on the cover, out of his pants. He'd be my favorite player right there. That'd be great.
That's a great idea. I was thinking if Michael Vick scored, what if he went on all 4s and started barking?
Oh, wow.
That would cause a riot.
Your wife, are you fighting with the wife over this? I mean, you're glad he's back. I know she has.
It's horrible, and it's only getting worse. It really could be a divorce.
Really?
Imagine if I got divorced because of an argument about Michael Vick with my wife.
It has to be something stupid like that, doesn't it?
She is convinced. She has a Twitter account that she goes on once every 3 weeks, and she tweeted about the only way she'll accept this Michael Vick comeback is if he donates half of his salary to the Humane Society.
Right.
So my point was, look, he went bankrupt. Mm-hmm. He was in jail. He lost the last 2 years of his career. He's a social pariah. At what point have we decided this guy has served his penalty and it's time to give him a second chance? It's freaking America.
I was ready to sign off on that, just what you said, and then I took one last look at the DA and what they had, his specific charges, and just the strangling and the electrocuting and the drowning and the hanging of dogs. Oh my God, this is a sick bastard. I think I don't know. It's
not good, but I mean he didn't really think of them like dogs. I mean, it's I think almost mentally he talked himself into it, and he now admits that, that was crazy. Why did I do that?
Yeah.
I felt like he was contrite.
He should have just given these thugs, who are probably in and out of jail anyway, I don't know, but give them $2.5 million each. They'd each serve 6 months, bound to happen.
Yeah.
And say, just keep quiet. I wasn't around for any of this. Let's stick to that story. But they must have really had him pinned.
It seems to me, it just seemed from reading the story, it seemed like he had something broken in his brain that had him thinking that these were not dogs.
Right.
It was no different than cutting a turkey's neck off because you need a Thanksgiving turkey. It was he thought of them like the turkey. Well, and now I think he sat in jail for 2 years and he realized, those were dogs, and those dogs have feelings, and I tortured them and I murdered them.
Let me tell you something. I would pay to see him give that turkey analogy at a press conference or after, or right before a game or something.
I mean, there's no bigger dog lover than me, and even I'm willing to forgive Michael Vick at this point. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Whatever. So you still don't forgive him?
Just the drowning and the electric. If it were cats, it would be one thing, but no.
Yeah, I forgot about all that stuff.
I like that people hate the Eagles more. They could,
So that's the thing. If I went online and I looked at the pictures, I'd be so back into the he should never play again thing. But I don't know. I'm a second chance guy with a lot of things. I feel and also his background and how he grew up, and and just the culture there in the South toward dogfighting compared to what we grew up with.
Well,
I don't know. There's some variables that at the very least he probably deserved a second chance at some point.
Well,
right?
The deuce is turning in a grave right now. I'm just saying that right now.
I know. Well, that's the thing, but it's see I'm not going to call on you on my divorce trial.
No, you shouldn't have anyway. I would have made a mockery of it.
All right, Adrian Peterson.
All right, Adrian Peterson, number 2, and this is going to surprise you.
You rattled me with the Michael Vick stuff.
I'm sorry.
Now I'm not going to go, after we finish this, I'm going to go online, I'm going to look at dog electrocution photos, and by the end of the day, I'm going to be writing an anti-Michael Vick column.
You won't have, people will be holding those at the stadium and everything. Believe me, I hate PETA and everything, all that garbage, but he's just, it's too much. It's too much, Michael Vick, I think.
Yeah, I think the rape stand was really that's when I decided I wasn't going to think about it anymore.
I was actually okay with that. No, he's a mental case.
All right, Peterson 1. Who do you have 2?
Well, here's what I'm going to surprise everyone. I'm going D'Angelo Williams 2nd. I screw what these magazines say. First of all, these magazines you've talked about, they come out, 5 minutes after the NFL draft, so they're way behind. But every magazine tells you Michael Turner's number 2, and why should he be? I think, depending on how your league formats the scoring, D'Angelo Williams is probably number 1 the whole year, and I just don't buy that he's splitting carries and 1,500 yards and 18 TDs last year. That's my guy at number 2.
You don't think there's resentment toward everybody who didn't have him last year because he ruined their league and swung the title?
Oh, in our league? What do you mean?
In every league. I think D'Angelo Williams was like patient X of the 2008 football season. If you had him, you won the league, and if you didn't have him, you lost.
Yeah, well, that's why you got to have him this year, no?
Well, no, I'm saying I think the rankings. So many people resent him for ruining their league last year because he really did. He ruined everybody's league.
All right, but don't put Michael Turner, too, for anything.
No, I don't have him, too. I think 2 is a two-man race between Mr. Matt Forte of the Chicago Bears and the old warrior, LaDainian Tomlinson.
Wow. All right.
I personally think I would have, man, it's tough, but I think I would take Tomlinson 2nd, and I would take Forte 3rd, and D'Angelo Williams 4th.
Now, if you take Tomlinson 2nd, it's only because Matthew Berry just convinced you yesterday or whatever. Because you're not you thought he was done all year. You would tell me. I
did my research for these podcasts, and it's first of all, he didn't have that bad of a year last year. I didn't realize that his year was a lot more. The problem is Barry and I talked about it. Like in the old days, he didn't win you 2 or 3 weeks. He just was steadily 12 points, 14 points. So it was almost like. He lost his luster because of that, but I'm not sure that was totally fair.
Right. Well, he goes from 31 touchdowns to 11. You're already right. You're upset if you took him first, but
yeah, and he was kind of whiny too. He wasn't fun to have. He didn't seem happy. You don't like having unhappy guys on your team.
Well, that's the best part of this. He's a sissy, so you know he's not going to play if he doesn't play. So then you just throw Sproles in, who you take in the 7th round, and you have a nice full slot there. I had him number 4.
Really?
I have Jones-Drew ahead of him and Forte 5th.
Interesting. What is the appeal of Jones-Drew to you other than the fact that he's put up good stats?
I like, first of all, he shoots the number 1 if it's a points per reception league, right? I mean, because that's 60 extra points. I like the 3 names.
Nice.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's a weird, if you've never had a guy before, that's kind of who you want to take.
Yeah.
You have a bad taste in your mouth with so many other guys, but also there's no handcuff with him at all. I couldn't even name his back. Who is the Jaguars' backup right now?
Oh, I like the way you're thinking. See, I almost worry that there's no Fred Taylor anymore because now he's got to come through play after play after play after play.
Yeah.
Without the Fred Taylor kind of security blanket.
I just like his breakaway ability, but he and LT are right there, neck and neck. I would say for 3 and 4.
So it's the hyphen. It's the hyphen for you, really. More
the hyphen's nice. Forte is a great pick too, though. I mean, that's you're going to get a dozen touchdowns, I think, no matter what happens with Cutler.
So wait a second. Where'd you have Turner?
I have Turner 6th. I really believe in that 370 carried plus thing. I mean, your productivity goes down 40%. It's do you want a pilot flying you from LAX to JFK if he's on 4 hours sleep? No, it's exactly the same thing, Bill. It's exactly the same thing.
Do we agree that he is the drop-off at 6?
Yeah.
I mean, whatever order you're going to have, those are the top 6, and then the 7th guy, you're a little unhappy that you don't have one of the first 6 guys.
Well, Peterson's in a class by himself. I think you're saying that, but the thing is, no one's going to blame you for taking Peterson first. Everything else, you could be like, oh, you should have. I listened. I could have listened. I could have read. But, yeah, I do think 6 is a drop-off there.
Because on the ESPN rankings, they have Chris Johnson 6th and Tomlinson 7th, and Williams 8th. I think I would have Chris Johnson after those guys. I'm going to throw this at you. I think Clinton Portis I would have 7th.
Wow, I like that. I mean, I don't mind. I had Portis. I had him 19th, and even that is earlier than other magazines and stuff to predict.
You have him 19th, like right now?
19th overall, yeah. Do you have him 7th running back or 7th overall?
All right, well, I mean, is he going to do better than Chris Johnson?
No, I have Chris Johnson 7th. Wait, what did you just say? You said you had Portis.
I'm saying that you would rather have Chris Johnson than Clinton Portis.
I would, yeah. I would. You wouldn't.
Well, I just think Clinton Portis is a top 7 guy that he fell off at the end of last year because his line fell apart and that team got screwed up. But, man, you look at what he did through week 12.
Yeah.
And it was like just week after week after week. Were there reasons why he slipped off? Yeah. I don't know if I trust Chris Johnson. I had Chris Johnson last year. I loved him, but his biggest games came against bad teams, and they still have that Lindell White thing. And he got hurt in the playoffs. He got hurt down the stretch of the season.
I think you're going to get 10 TDs and 1,200-plus yards, so that's and maybe I should have moved them down a little more. Maybe 7's a little high. But, that's why I think I have Westbrook where you would have Portis. Westbrook's dropped to like 23 in some leagues.
I don't understand that either. And
it's insane. They shored up the offensive line with Peters and Andrews. Like he's not going to split time. He's going to have 1,300 total yards and 14 touchdowns. He missed 2 games with those stats last year.
And why is Steven Jackson as high as he is in some of these?
Well, I've dropped him big time because I have him 20th actually. I mean, if you miss 4 games the last 2 seasons, that's it. Like. He's cheating on you, and he's going to do it again.
Do we think the Redskins are going to be good?
It's
your division. You're a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
You got to deal with them twice a year.
Yeah, I just hate that. I really like. If I could sign off on 3-3 in the division right now as a Cowboys fan, I think I would because it's always such a miserable process. But I don't know. I think they're a poor man's. Raiders there with Al Davis with their signings and everything. I think it's kind of backfiring against them.
I made a mistake. I would take Steve Slayton 7th, and I would take Portis 8th, and I would take Chris Johnson 9th.
Wow.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I don't have Slayton until like the second round for these guys. I have
Slayton.
I have Johnson 7th, Westbrook 8th. I have Tom Brady 9th. But then
Tom Brady over Drew Brees.
I have him over Drew Brees. I have him 9th, and I have him the first quarterback. Then I look back at his stats last year. He had 7 completions for 76 yards. That was a terrible year. I know you're
off season. It was off season.
Awful. But he must have something to prove. Like I said, I think the Patriots make everyone pay, and I actually have Moss 10th. I think he's going to have like 16 or 17 touchdowns, somewhere in between last year and what he did 2 years ago.
Yeah, let's say you're in a 10-team league and you have the 10th pick.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't take Brady or Brees with one of those 2 picks, I think you're a lunatic.
Yeah.
And you got to come out of there with one of those because Brady and Brees are the only 2 QBs that are really ultimately going to swing your league. After that, I think the next 5 guys, there's whatever you get any of those 5, you're going to be fine. But Brady, Brees potentially
12th overall, over 5,000 yards is just an insane amount.
Well, and also he's got Colston healthy this year. That was the crazy thing about the 5,000 yards is that he didn't even really get a great Colston season.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't understand that.
I think I have Colston, I don't know how you want to do this, but I have Colston 23rd overall, which puts him in the top 5 receivers for me. I think it drops off after that. I mean,
so we think, okay, so we agree that there's the first tier is just Peterson by himself.
Peterson's by himself first tier, and then you have 5 backs.
The 5 running backs. So we think it's Turner, Jones-Drew, Forte, Tomlinson and D'Angelo Williams in some order. I had Tomlinson and Forte ranked higher. You had D'Angelo Williams and Mojo ranked higher.
Right.
And we both don't love Michael Turner.
I don't like Turner at all. I don't know where I would take him if I were drafting. I really don't.
So next tier. Now, we disagree on this because I like Portis more than you. You like Westbrook a little more than I do.
I like Westbrook a lot, yeah. I think if you could take him as your first back, and I think a lot of people would pass on him.
We both agree Chris Johnson is in there. Steven Jackson's got to be in there, right?
Steven Jackson, I dropped because of the injuries. I'm scared,
All right, let's move him out. I'm not attached to him.
Yeah. I have Gore ahead of Steven Jackson. I have Slayton ahead of Steven Jackson. Yeah,
I forgot Slayton. So I really think, Chris Johnson, Slayton, or Portis, that to me is a strong 7, 8, 9. You don't agree? You'd put Westbrook ahead.
I start taking a receiver before Portis, but if we're just talking running backs, Portis is the best second back, I think.
So you would rather take... Man, I think you talked me into Brady at 9. I think Brady's definitely... Brady and Breeze, whoever you like. If you can get Brady or Breeze between 12 and 13... 9 and 13...
Yeah.
Right? But you have Moss high, though, too.
I'm not kissing your ass, but because I hate just about everything you stand for. But Tom Brady, that if you could have Tom Brady, let's say it's even a 12-team league, you get Brady 9th. What would your next be? 16th?
Yeah, that's pretty. I think you talked me out of Portis, and you might have even talked me out of. I still like Steve Slayton.
You could have Brady and Moss at 9 and 16 possibly, and you're gonna be halfway there. You're probably gonna have 40 or 45 points a week without even having drafted a running back yet.
So wait a second. So what's wrong with taking? Don't you think Brady and Breeze should be maybe be in the 8 to 10 range then? Yeah, well I have Brady 9th. Because if you take him 9th, then you can come back with somebody from the Slayton, Portis, Westbrook, Gore group. Right, if you want coming back. Exactly, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. No, that's nice. And then there's some good players for you in the 3rd and 4th round. But I had Fitzgerald 11th. I don't completely trust Warner. I know these guys end up with great numbers, Fitzgerald and Bolden, but he's still like the most immobile quarterback back there, right? It's just a matter of time. I think teams felt bad for him a little bit. And well, also, how many years in a row is he going to pump out 16-game seasons? I threw that at Barry, and Barry's like, well, as long as he keeps doing it, then why wouldn't he keep doing it? And it's like, yeah, that's fine, but one of these years he's not going to do it, and then you're stuck with Kurt Warner, and you lost your second-round pick, basically. Right. That is the thing. He's safe because of his past, and that's it. So Andre Johnson I throw in around 13. What about Calvin? And I have him 15. I have Calvin 15th. I have Gore 14th. But I don't know. Did Barry talk about Glenn Coffey as a good handcuff back? Because they love that guy in San Francisco. I don't know if I like anybody on San Francisco. I think the one thing I've learned over the years is you never want the guy in the crap real NFL team. It's just it never works out. And especially as the season goes along and their season starts falling apart, but your playoffs are about to start. I'm trying to figure out everybody that we think could be in this 3rd tier. So right now I got Chris Johnson, Brady, Breeze, Slayton, Portis, Westbrook, Moss, Chris Johnson, Andre Johnson, Frank Gore. Johnson, yeah, Calvin Johnson, I'm sorry. Right. And Frank Gore. Is there anybody else that we think is in that tier? Well, I think Jacobs, if he's not in that tier, he's right there. I think he's got to be next to Gore at least. Yeah, I mean, nobody. I've watched the Cowboys for years. Their linebackers, Olaying, nobody wants to tackle this guy after Halloween. It's disgusting, and so unless he's on your team, it's not fun to watch. And he had 15 touchdowns last year. Yeah, that's a lot. He's getting the ball by the goal line. All right, so after the top 6, so we got 1, 2, 3. That's 11 guys. Mm-hmm. So that takes us to 11 plus 6, as far as I can remember, is 17. So if you're at pick 18, that kind of sucks. Well, I like Steve Smith also. You don't like him? No. he had 1,400 yards and he missed 2 games. I don't. I think badass. I am so scared of Jake Delhomme after the playoff collapse. I know. I mean, how can you go near that guy? Do you really want your season hinging on whether Jake Delhomme is going to shake off one of the worst performances in the history of professional sports?
Yeah. It just seems Steve Smith always has a year where he'll have 3 games that will single-handedly win you a fantasy week.
Well, I'm perfectly willing to start the 4th tier with him.
The 4th tier, what are you saying? Is pick number 20 about?
It would be pick 18.
18. So if Steve Smith is you're picking first in our 10-team league, and let's say you're going Peterson, Steve Smith is available. You're not taking him with 20 or 21?
Oh, I'd be delighted to. I'm just saying he didn't belong to the previous tier.
Right. So
I think he's the top of the next tier, which is tier 4, which is pick 18 on.
Okay.
So then
that's where I have him.
Other guys that see, you had Clinton Portis in this tier. Did I talk you out of that or not? Did I talk you into moving him up one?
I had him at 19. I'll move him up. I'll switch him with Slayton. For some reason, I don't switch Slayton. I don't trust Slayton as much as everybody else does. You have Slayton way higher than that.
I do. I love Slayton.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I still want to watch the preseason and stuff. But, yeah, I love Slayton. I mean, right now at this point, if, like, my draft was today, I'd probably play it safe and take Brady or Breeze if I was, like, had the 7th, 8th, 9th pick, just because I don't know who to – out of those rest of those running backs, none of them jump out, so why not just get the best guy at another position? So
as far as that goes, like, so the next 4 names, I have Steven Jackson, because I don't like because of in this time from injuries. I have my boy Marion Barber, the 3rd. Make sure you take the 3rd.
Marion Barber, 1, 2, 3.
I think no matter what, he's going to have 1,200 yards and 9 or 10 touchdowns. I don't think it's going to be much less or much more than that with the 3-headed monster they have. I have Kevin Smith right there. Somehow he's figured out how to gain 1,000 yards and 8 TDs in that offense.
I could not take him that high.
You wouldn't take them, huh?
No. At that point, I would just take Peyton Manning, even if I already had a quarterback.
So you would pass on. You would take like Larry Johnson as your second back ahead of Kevin Smith.
See, but we differ on this. Like, I feel like there's so much value in the 5th, 6th, 7th rounds that I would rather just take somebody like Peyton Manning or Greg Jennings or Steve Smith, whoever, over taking like the 15th best running back.
Oh, that's Brett Favre. He retired.
Oh my God, he did it again. Sorry about that. Always happens. What am I getting? Where's Kevin Smith taking me? What is he going to have, a 1,700-yard season? Where do I go with Kevin Smith?
Like he kind of bucked the trend. Like as far as the rookies, I'm pretty sure he did better as the year went on. It's just it's an enigma. And I thought by the second dozen, the end of the second dozen, I thought he should be there.
But that team's got 6 games just against Packers, Vikings, Bears.
Yeah. Well, if he's fired up about this Brett Favre thing as much as I am, he'll really turn it on, I think.
Well, right now I have in the 4th tier, I have Jackson, Steve Smith, Marion Barber, Peyton Manning. You're not talking me into Kevin Smith.
I don't have Manning. I have Rodgers over Manning. I feel bad this guy gets compared to Brett Favre. Like, he should be compared to Peyton Manning. He was one of 4 quarterbacks who had better stats than Manning last year. And
I'm not against Peyton Manning.
What's that?
I mean, I'm not against Aaron Rodgers.
You have Manning over Rodgers, though?
I have Manning. I have 1 spot ahead of Rodgers, but I think they're both in the discussion.
Like, there would have been 5 if Brady were healthy. There would have been 5 quarterbacks with better stats than Manning.
Let me ask you this: what happened to your boy Tony Romo?
What do you mean? He made a great decision. I don't care what he does the rest of the year. He declined the Ken and Barbie party, and that was a huge decision by Tony Romo. Now I agree.
I think it was a life raft for your season.
Can you imagine if he went to that Ken and Barbie? That would have been a disaster. He's making good choices now.
Well, that's my point. Is I think he is in that Manning Aaron Rodgers group. And for some reason, it's fallen out of it a little bit because everybody is so worried that you don't have Terrell Owens anymore, who dropped like half the passes they threw to him and was a total distraction. And you still have a good team. You still have a good running game. Roy Williams this year, maybe he steps up. Romo's done it. He's done it for 2 years now. And he missed 3 games last year and still had like top 10 stats. Why isn't this guy a top 5 quarterback?
You look at his first year and a half. It's the best stats aside from Brady. There's no one better in the history of the game. But I think, and I really hope he calms it down a little. Like, here's what you got to know: 12 personnel, Bill. That's what the Cowboys are running this year, and it's a secret. I probably shouldn't tell you because people might be listening to this. But 12 personnel is 1 running back, 2 tight ends, And that's what we're going with this year. And I just think it's going to create a lot of options for him. Martellus Bennett has been the standout player for the Cowboys in training camp. He and Witten running short patterns and Williams receiver and whatever we want to do at running back. I want him to have like a Eli Manning type year, 21, 22 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. I really would be happy with that.
Well, I have in Tier 4 Steven Jackson, Sam Smith, Marion Barber, Greg Jennings, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Tony Romo, Reggie Wayne, and Roddy White. Anybody
Roddy
I'm
White's
missing?
good too. Yeah,
Anybody
I know Matt Sherry likes him. That's good. I would put that's about right. I would say that's about right.
You wouldn't put Bolden in there?
Yeah, I don't trust. If you look at Bolden's stats, they're not that much worse than Fitzgerald, and Fitzgerald shoots to the top automatically for whatever reason. But
Barry had a good point about that. Fitzgerald's best games happened when Bolden was out.
Yeah,
and that if you just assume that Bolden will be there the whole year, why should we assume that Fitzgerald is going to have the season he had last year, especially if Kurt won or anything happens to him?
That's interesting. What does he say about Pierre Thomas? Because I think he's not far from where we are right now, where we're discussing. Like, if you don't like Kevin Smith, you could probably get like a Pierre Thomas 7 or 8 picks lower.
See, I think Pierre Thomas is in that next group. Right. I think Kevin Smith, for me, is the leader of the next group.
That's
so that would be
group.
Yeah, so we have the Adrian Peterson group, then we have the 5 running backs, that's the next group. Then we have the 11 guys we discussed. Mm-hmm. And now, so from pick 18 through pick 26, that's the next group. Steven Jackson, Steve Smith, Barber, Jennings, Manning, Rodgers, Romo, Wayne, Roddy White.
I agree with that, except I don't know why I don't put Romo in there. I think Romo is...
Because you can get him later?
I think you can get Romo. I think Rivers is ahead of Romo now. Believe me, no one loves Romo more than I do. I just think they're going to be a higher-powered offense, Rivers is. And you could get Romo with Donovan McNabb in the next tier, which would be like the fifth round, I would say.
All right, so let's make Romo. Just had to take a break because my dog nudged open the door. I think he was furious about my Michael Vick comments.
I wouldn't leave that room anytime soon.
He was like, I'm going to kill you tonight as you sleep, was the look on his face. All right, I'll move Romo to that.
Well, where do you put Kurt Warner? Like, I won't take a chance on Warner, but
I think the start of this next group, tier 5, Romo, Warner, and who was the other QB we had?
Did I say McNabb?
I wouldn't put McNabb that high. You convinced me to move Romo down. Man, if you could get Tony Romo at the 27th pick, I'd be very happy with that.
Well, when we did a mock draft a few weeks ago, you had the one pick. Where did you take Romo? Did you take him with the 20?
I took him at the end of the 4th round. I was so happy.
Yeah, that's about where he's going in these things. Have you done mock drafts on ESPN? I don't want to blow smoke up at it, but I've done about 45 mock drafts with ESPN now. And I do about 8 rounds, and then I put it on autopilot, and I don't know how much longer this marriage is going to last.
Can we? Where is that link on there? We can just do it. Where is it?
Yeah, you could do it every 5 minutes. They have a different league. It's insane. How many?
So you could just join the league and do the mock draft?
That's it. Yeah, you just do the mock draft, and then they email you the results, even though you're sitting there watching it. But they email you the results.
Is it with 9 strangers, or you can do your own mock draft by yourself?
It's with strangers, but you could arrange so that you get in the same one at the same time.
Oh, we should have done that.
Well, we will. Really I think I'm seeing you later.
Well, we did one about 2 weeks ago that I really enjoyed, and I ended up with an awesome team, which was my favorite part of the thing. But so Romo, Warner, Kevin Smith, Pierre Thomas. Now I think Anquan Bolden has to be in there.
Yeah, he's solid.
Colston, no question, has to be in there. Should we have Colston higher?
I have him earlier, yeah. I have him number 23 overall, yeah. Yeah,
so Colston should be in the last group. Sorry about that. And then, anybody else we like? Do you like Brandon Marshall?
Well, it's almost T.O. time, I think, to put him in one.
Oh, no.
I know, but no. Is he going to get fewer than 8 touchdowns? I mean, I think we're looking at 8 touchdowns and 1,000 yards for the rest of these guys, probably, right?
Ronnie Brown?
I don't know. You like Ronnie Brown better than Pierre
See,
Thomas?
If we're in the stage, then we have to stop doing this.
That's it. That's all. That's all right. We don't need to
I'm just going to throw out more names for you. And Dwayne Bowe, no.
I like
Grant.
Wes Welker. I would take him early. There's a lot of yards to be had in that Patriots team.
Phil Rivers. Okay.
Vincent Jackson, possibly.
I think Terrell Owens is the guy to stop the draft. So let's stop it with Ronnie Brown and Terrell Owens.
All right.
Do we include them or not include them?
I would not include them. Although you can't be too upset with Terrell Owens as your second receiver. If you have not taken a quarterback and you have two running backs and Owens is your second receiver, that's not bad.
Well, right now we have 6 plus 11, 17, 20.
To the top 35 or 40?
26, and we have 30, 34. We need one more for our top 35. Let's do it. Anybody? Marshawn Lynch? Darren McFadden? Derek Ward?
I don't know why I'm such a Patriots fan all of a sudden, but I'm telling you, Wes Welker will have a lot of yards.
I can't. See, I feel like we should stop the draft at that.
All right. We're stopping the draft.
We'll do it at top 34.
That's it.
Okay, so now we have all
the great Walter Payton.
We have all our tiers. I'm going to go through it one more time.
Yeah.
Well, actually, all right. So, Adrian Peterson first. Forte, Tomlinson, or D'Angelo Williams second. You make the call.
Right.
Make it the call.
I like D'Angelo Williams second.
All right.
But
we'll alternate. Let's go in alternating order.
All right.
I'm going to take Matt Forte. Oh, man, this is tough. I'm glad I'm on the third pick. I'm going to take Forte third.
You take Forte. I go MJD fourth.
MJD. I am going to take LaDainian Tomlinson fifth. And that means you have to take Turner sixth.
I trade this pick at this point, but if I have to take six, whoever takes six, I guess you take Turner.
Okay, so our next tier is Chris Johnson, Brady, Breeze, Slayton, Portis, Westbrook, Moss, Chris Johnson. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Calvin Johnson, Andre Johnson, Gord, Jacobs. I'll give you this pick since you were forced to take Turner in the last one.
All right. What number? I'm at 15, or am I?
No, you're at number 7.
Right.
So you can take anyone in that group now.
I'll take Chris Johnson.
Okay, Chris Johnson. I am going to take, because I think I can get a really good running back coming back, I am going to take Tom Brady.
All right. I'll take Randy Moss.
You're going to take Randy Moss. At
this
number
is the 10th pick now?
Yeah, at number 10, we're going to pretend this is a 10-team league, right?
Okay.
At number 10, I am going to take Mr. Drew Brees, and I'm going to follow that up with Mr. Clinton Portis.
Wow. That's pretty good. But if you take Brees and Fitzgerald, you arguably have the best at those two positions there. That's pretty good. All right, so 10, 11. I'll take Westbrook 12th, only because he's not around, and I think he's solid with Brady or wherever we had nice.
Westbrook 12. Okay. I'm going to take Steve Slayton 13.
All right. Andre Johnson 14.
All righty. I'm very happy to get Calvin Johnson at 15.
Yeah, that's pretty good if you can get him around and a half in.
Have we used up everyone in this tier? No, we have two guys left, Gore and Jacobs.
I'll take Jacobs there.
Okay. And I will force to take Frank Gore, so I get the first pick of the next tier, which is Steven Jackson, Stephen Smith, Marion Barber, Greg Jennings, Marquise Colston, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Reggie Wayne, and Roddy White. And I am going to take Steve Smith.
This is big. I wonder if anyone's still listening.
Oh, they love this. Are you kidding? People on pins and needles are. Oh, they love this. They're so mad right now that somebody went too high. Or somebody. They love this.
All right, I'm passing on. Steven Jackson hasn't been taken yet, right?
No, you have 19.
Pass again. I'm going to take Marion Barber.
Intriguing. Okay.
Now you take Steven Jackson.
So give me 20 and 21 since I have the number 1 pick.
So,
or at least agree with me.
So if you have Peterson, and now you're taking your next two.
Yes. So 20 and 21. Oh.
Do you want to take a quarterback? I mean, the number 1 slot it's a good place to take a quarterback after Peterson. Like Peterson, you could have Peterson, Jackson, and who'd you say, Rodgers or Romo? Who'd you want?
Yeah, but maybe I'm thinking I can get Romo at 40.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely taking Greg Jennings. I love Greg Jennings.
So you'd have Peterson, Jennings.
Yes. And I'm going to follow that up by going, just because such good value at this point, I'm going to take Steven Jackson.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's good for him there.
That's solid.
Yeah.
All right, so you are on the clock with pick 22.
I'll take Colston.
Yeah, see, I almost took Colston there. All right, so then we have... Oh. So this is basically... This would be pick 23. So the guy who did this took a running back in the first round. I think he takes Aaron Rodgers here.
Yeah, if you didn't take him there, I was going to take him, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and I know you don't like this, but I go Kevin Smith as a decent second back.
You jumped him out of the last tier, though.
I did?
Yeah. You can't take him. He's ineligible.
Oh, my God.
You have to take either Peyton Manning...
Well, has Steve Smith been taken? Oh, he's in.
You got Peyton Manning, Reggie Wayne, and Roddy White.
All right. Well, then you know what? I go Roddy White, and I think if you have like Tomlinson and Roddy White, that's pretty good.
Yes, I agree. And then I think Manning goes here, 25, which leaves you with Reggie Wayne.
Yeah,
at the end of this tier. Well, I'll give you the next pick, too. So you get first pick next tier, I'll give you Kevin Smith.
Right. And Reggie Wayne.
Right. Reggie Wayne in the last tier. Kevin Smith. So then... Oh, see, now the draft drops. I didn't really like your Kevin Smith pick, and I don't like anybody I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to... I feel terrible about it, but I'm going to take this Pierre Thomas.
Yeah, no, he's solid for that.
Yeah.
Right there. There's got to be another running back at that point that's ready.
You know what? I mean, if it were me drafting at that point, I would probably take Rivers. Maybe I should take Rivers, because that's who I would take. I'm going to take Rivers. I changed my pick. You can have Pierre Thomas.
Because now these guys are all kind of the same now. Like Pierre Thomas, Thomas Jones, Ronnie Brown, and Ryan Grant.
I'm giving you Pierre Thomas, and then I'm going to take Ronnie Brown. So who do you want?
I'll take Ryan Grant then. Did we not have him in our tier?
No, we should have. Maybe he'll be 35.
Yeah, there's no 35.
I will take, I guess, Warner at that point. You got to.
Yeah.
So who do you have?
I don't even know who's left. Who do we have?
You could take Terrell Owens, or you could take. Oh, Anquan Bolden's still on the board.
Yeah, he wouldn't be there. Yeah. We screwed up somewhere.
Yeah, let's move. Where should we move Bolden?
Probably before Roddy White.
I'm going to switch Rivers.
All right.
For Bolden.
I can't even keep track anymore. I don't know how many.
No, I'm going to read it to you right now. All right, all right, we're done. So, Peterson 1, D'Angelo Williams 2, Forte 3, Jones Drew 4, Tomlinson 5, Turner 6. Next here, Calvin Johnson 7, Brady 8, Moss 9, Breeze 10. Portis 11, Westbrook 12, Slayton, Andre Johnson, Calvin Johnson, Jacobs, Gore. That's the end of that tier. Steve Smith, Marion Barber, Jennings the 20th pick. Steven Jackson, Colston, Aaron Rodgers, Roddy White, Manning, Reggie Wayne. Now you're saying Bolden should go after Reggie Wayne, or even before maybe?
That's probably close. That's close.
Would you rather have Bolden or Reggie Wayne?
Someone will reach on Wayne before Bolden, I think.
So you think, but I mean, for our draft, you think Bolden goes after Reggie Wayne?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So we'll move him there. So that makes the big drop-off point the 28th pick.
Yeah.
So we basically have a top 28, and if you have pick number 29, you're looking at Kevin Smith, Pierre Thomas, Ronnie Brown, Ryan Grant, Kurt Warner, Phil Rivers, Terrell Owens.
Well, that's what I've been telling people. People are like, hey, 8th and 9th this year is no worse than first, 2nd or 3rd. I'm like, I don't know. Once you get to that 3rd round, you're going to be scraping.
So what middle pick would be the best pick? If you couldn't get the number 1 pick, which pick would you want?
Well, I think depending on how many guys would pass on Tomlinson, if you can get him 5th or 6th, which is where I am in our league, that's where to be.
Okay, so you took Tomlinson 5th. That means coming back, you took, Calvin Johnson. You get it 15.
It would be 16, I think, though, right? 5 and 16? Or,
No. I have it, Breeze was 10th, Portis, Westbrook, Slayton, Andre Johnson, Calvin Johnson, 15th, Jacobs, Gore, 16, 17. Oh, wait. You're right. So you'd be the 14th pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd get... I mean, that's pretty good. You'd really take Andre Johnson over Calvin Johnson?
I don't know. I know it's not romantic because he plays for the Texans, but I don't know. The Stafford, it's fine. He'll have good numbers. He'll for sure have good numbers.
Would you rather have Tomlinson and Andre Johnson, or would you rather have Maurice Jones-Drew and Calvin Johnson?
I don't think he goes. I know we have him going that late, but I don't think Calvin Johnson goes that late.
You think he goes? So you think he goes ahead of Steve Slayton?
He goes before 17th, I think. Yeah.
All right, so let's switch him with Steve Slayton, just for the sake of accuracy.
People get frustrated if they don't have a receiver.
Yeah, that's true. People do panic. So let's say we have Calvin Johnson 13 and Andre Johnson 14.
Mm-hmm.
So potentially in a 10-team league, you could end up with Chris Johnson at 7. And then coming back, Andre Johnson at 14. I
think you almost will definitely have, if you have like Chris Johnson 7, you'll definitely have either Calvin Johnson, Andre Johnson, or remember, I took Moss earlier than I think most people would. I think one of those 3 receivers is there for that second pick.
So does that mean you should go receiver at the end of first round? Or should you go running back knowing that you'll get a receiver coming back?
So it's basically it's Calvin Johnson. It's basically Chris Johnson and let's say Andre Johnson versus if you took a receiver there, Fitzgerald and Slayton. Is that what it would be about? Yeah. It's tough.
And we didn't even mention the Brady Breeze combo. Some people might not want to take a quarterback that high. I personally think this is even more talked me into it than I was before.
Yeah. No, I like those guys. It's nice not to have to worry about that.
I'm looking at... See, you have Westbrook too high. All right, so our final verdict is Peterson, D'Angelo Williams, Forte, Jones-Drew, Tomlinson.
Oh, don't keep reading this list. Really?
Turner. One more time. Chris Johnson, Brady, Moss, Breeze, Portis, Westbrook, Calvin Johnson, Andre Johnson, Slayton, Jacobs, Gore. Steve Smith, Marion, Barbara Jennings, Steven Jackson, Colston, Aaron Rodgers, Roddy White, Peyton Manning, Reggie Wayne, Anquan Bolden. We say it goes 27 deep, and then after that, you're on your own.
Yeah, I think it's tough. Good luck to the guys in the third round towards the end of the back half of the draft.
Could you see anybody cracking the top 27 between now and opening night? Because I really don't. I mean, yeah, maybe that Joseph Brown on the Colts, like if he goes crazy in training camp, and it becomes clear that he's the guy.
Yeah. I would think, Sean Marino, but he's hurt now. I don't think there's anyone who really could. There's not going to be a receiver doing it, that's for sure.
Well, as always, it looks like the middle rounds are going to win this thing.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. I really just hope we're not voted out.
Well, so in our league, if you didn't know, which we've talked about, but we have 11 teams showing up, but only 10 teams will draft. Somebody's going to get voted out by last year's defending champs.
Right, the winning team owner gets to vote someone out. But after 40 days of preparation, we've had our draft order now since the third week in July. So everyone's been preparing. They get to the draft, and someone's going to be voted out.
And for me, it's a nightmare because I have the number 1 pick. I've already got Adrian Peterson's jersey printed. I was thinking, like, maybe I buy the Adrian Peterson jersey online and I wear it to the draft. Like, they'd feel guilty. Like, it'd be one thing to vote me out and I'd have to pack up my stuff and leave the draft like Survivor. But if I had the Peterson jersey on, it would almost be like like pulling the heartstrings.
I think they'd look at it as you were being cocky. Like, this guy doesn't think there's any way he's getting voted out. Look at him. He spent $79.99 on the jersey.
Who is the odds-on favorite right now to get voted off?
Hench. I'd say Kevin Hench.
Kevin Hench. And you know what? Also the funniest guy to be voted out if it happens.
That'd be great. As long as it's not me.
He'd have that look at it. All right, great. Good times. Really?
This needs to be a 3-camera shoot. We have to figure it out.
Are we filming this?
Oh yeah, I'm going to have something. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be professionally done, but I'll have the flip cam ready for sure.
Are they going to announce it at like a podium or something, or how's that going to work?
I think it's going to be like Survivor. They're going to bring in the relatives, and you're going to have to hand in your buffs and everything else.
Is Jeff Probst showing up?
He's out of town. We did ask for him. He's not around that week.
All right, so last question. If you could have any pick...
Don't you read that list again. I swear to God.
I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to read it again. If you could have any pick other than one, which pick would you want?
I don't think it matters. I wouldn't want... the only thing I've learned today is that I don't want 7, 8, 9, 10, and it has nothing to do with the first round. Like we said, I think it's the third round you get screwed there. So I don't care. 1 through 5, I'm okay, I think. I don't think
I'd want 2, and I don't think I'd want 7, 8, 9.
Right.
But I think if you get 1, or if you get like in that 4, 5, 6 range, that 4, 5, 6 range is nice this year. Like you could get 3 of our top 27, and then maybe get Romo in round 4.
Yeah.
All right, last thing. Hard Knocks. Excited? Like it? Don't like it?
I like it. I think it's got good potential here. They they cut a guy at 5:30 in the morning.
Why did they do that? Was
it a skin condition?
I know, that was horrible.
This troll shows up at his door at 5:30. Like, no wonder the Bengals are full of criminals. They have no jobs and they're walking the streets at 5:30 in the morning.
I'll tell you, that killed my wife. It was just because she already felt bad for him. It was a skin condition. Like, oh, what a great... He takes so much courage. Like, he just carries himself with so much dignity. And then they cut
really
the guy at 5:30 in the morning.
Well, you could explain to her that he was strangling a dog behind the door. And maybe she won't feel as bad. But, no, if I'm him, I'm like, I'm not answering that door until 10:45. And that's when I wake up, and you could cut me. I'll have a caramel macchiato with me, and that's it.
What if they had closed it? I was thinking if they had closed the door, and all of a sudden you just heard a lot of commotion inside the room.
Yeah.
Like the guy was just throwing him around, throwing that troll guy around the thing. This might be the first Hard Knocks that I've actually, like, my esteem for the coach has gone up instead of down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I watched Marvin Lewis. I went into it thinking he was just a guy who should not have a job anymore, and then I was like, he's not terrible.
I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know. I think all these guys, I think it's like the surreal life. If they're asking you to be on the focus of Hard Knocks, that means you're an idiot. They're waiting for you. They're counting on you to get drunk and urinate in a plant at some point during the season, and you're going to do it. I mean, look at the head coaches they've had on the show.
Well,
Marvin Lewis, Campo, even Billick wasn't,
Well, Billick did it out of ego.
Yeah.
The other guys did it, I think, just because their management probably said, "Hey, we're doing this."
Right. I do think the Cowboys struck a deal with Hard Knocks and the Bengals, and giving them Tank Johnson and Roy Williams. I think they just lent them for this year, for this month.
I got to say, the one guy that shocked me that I really enjoyed Ocho Cinco. Like, by the end of the show, I was like, is Ocho Cinco coming back on? I couldn't wait for him to come on again. Child, please.
Child, please. Where did he get that from? Child, please. It sounds familiar.
Yeah. I came up with this myself. It's a saying I like to use. Really?
By the way, from here on in, now, I'm telling everyone to F off when I'm saying child, please. So. Yeah.
Have you started working child, please into your lexicon yet?
I'm going to try it. I'm going to work it in. You know what I think? I think someone like Steve Largent should come out with Ocho Quattro. He should change his name to Ocho Quattro. Just some old-timer white receiver. Just to say, and they have to call him Ocho Cinco. It's driving me crazy that they have to put it on his jersey and everything else.
It was cute for a while, and now it's just annoying. And and then it becomes a Muhammad Ali type thing where you have to recognize his new name. And it's like, your name is Ocho Cinco. I can't say it.
I like that he screwed up, too. He changed his name. It was supposed to be one word, Ocho Cinco, but when he changed it was 2 words, and for that reason, they won't make it one word on his nameplate, the tag.
How great did you feel as a Cowboys fan to watch Roy Williams just get steamrolled on the Oklahoma drill?
That was nice.
I mean, that was like that looked like what would have happened if I was the guy in the drill.
Yeah.
You got knocked back 40 feet.
Yeah, that was great. I'm enjoying the season. I really do like it.
Good season. All right, Cousin Sal.
That Reggie Kelly, no one was happier to tear his ACL than Reggie Kelly. He found out he wouldn't be playing for the Bengals this year. It's going to be good.
He was like, I still get paid, right?
Yeah, that's right.
This is great. I'll take it. Torn ACL. Yeah, that was an emotional moment, and that's the kind of moment that separates that show from all the other shows, is that they kept the camera going. The guy just found out he tore his Achilles.
Very solid.
All right. Cousin Sal, I'll see you in a couple hours. We're going to do our second mock draft. And thanks, as always, for being in the Subway Fresh Tech Hotline.
Child, please. It was my pleasure.
All right. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
until I get the sign off. Whoa!
Thank you for downloading the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Pod Center at ESPNradio.com.
Peace out.